Is the Hyatt Krakow really worth the price? We stayed here 8 nights to find out, and in this Hyatt Krakow hotel review, we're going to break down the location, the transit, the room features, service, the nearby hidden eateries that are fabulous and cheap, yet somehow some of them are still off the radar. Stay tuned to the end of our full verdict with the pros, cons, and we'll give you our honest rating.
We are going to start with the location. That was absolutely a 10 out of 10. There were so many great things about it. First of all, it was about 10 kilometers from the airport, which was about a 19-minute Bolt or taxi ride. Now, we didn't actually do that part because we got here on a train, and the train to here was fantastic. It's just a little bit past the old town, so you can catch a Bolt, for example. It only costs you $7. You can save a few dollars by catching the tram, which is really convenient, but we figured for an extra couple dollars, we let the driver take care of everything for us. And to go to the old town, it is the easiest thing on the world. On the tram, you just take the number 20 line. It gets you there in about 12 minutes, and it costs about $1 for the lowest price regular ticket, and half of that if you qualify for a discount. So across the board, the location was great in terms of the transportation. You've got great eateries such as food trucks. You've got beautiful parks, and you can walk along the riverbank. It's very close, and it's just beautiful strolling.
Yeah, it's a fantastic spot. In fact, the other piece of it is right next door to us, and is a new stadium where they play. In Poland, they call it football. Here in America, we call it soccer. But it's clearly a big deal because we saw and heard what it's like when that place gets active. And that is literally right next door. So if you want to come to Krakow for a big football match, this is also an ideal location for that. But I thought probably the best part of the location had to be the hidden food gems that were right around the hotel. And it's interesting because, when I was looking at reviews of the Hyatt Krakow, I noted that there were quite a few people who actually were critical, saying that there wasn't a lot of food options here. We found that not to be the case. So we particularly liked a couple of restaurants, one the Sowilo Café and the other one the Gospoda Café, right?
They were really great, and those two are on the radar. You can find them on Google Maps. They're a really nice, easy walk. But the really fun discovery that we made was when we went a little bit past Sowilo Café. It's you follow the same road, and we discovered a little food truck haven. Forget about tourists not being there. There were hardly any of the locals that were there, and it was kind of off the beaten path, but we decided to brave it. The food was very cheap, and we were absolutely blown away by how good this food was.
Yeah, to be clear, you might want to even play this back a little bit on the video, because really you will not find anything on the maps to tell you how to get here. Because in fact, I tried. We saw it the first night, thought, oh, we'll come back to this. It looks like it could be interesting. I tried to get there the second day and frankly got lost trying to find it. So here's the way you get there. When you, as I said, you walk out to the front of the hotel, go to the left as you're walking out of the front of the hotel, and you'll cross in front of the stadium. Then you'll immediately turn left again. You'll walk down to the back of the stadium. The stadium will be on one side, the park will be on the right. It's a nice little walk. As you keep walking down, you want to use Google Map and take yourself to Sowilo Café. Sowilo Café is going to be another quick left, and as you turn down Sowilo Café, you keep walking down that street. And at the end of that street, you're going to find a concrete path. There'll be no markings. There'll just be a concrete path. You go about 100 yards or so, and you will start to see the food trucks. That's where it is. Trust us. It's worth the search because they're really, really great food. And I mean, we had this fabulous gnocchi dinner, and I think we paid $20 for both of us.
For both of us.
Yeah, it was great, just great. So that's truly a hidden gem for you.
I think that food truck was called Piccolo number 12. And then the next day we went back and we were going to do the gnocchi meal again because it was so great. And then we thought, well, maybe we'll try another food truck. And so we didn't get quite as far as Piccolo number 12. We stopped at a place called La Boccata, which I think is the first truck that you will find when you take that little walk. And they were selling kanapki, which is Polish for sandwiches. So we had a salmon sandwich and a veggie sandwich. They were wonderful. And I think they were even cheaper than the gnocchi.
Yeah, oh yeah, they were, definitely. So that was great. Devin mentioned the first food truck park. And the first food truck park, I want to circle back to that one again. It's called, pardon my pronunciation, but I think it's called Bezogródek, and we'll go ahead.
No, you're good.
All right. Bezogródek is the park, and that one is on Google Maps. But we want to give a special shout out because we found a particular truck there called Mazne Pierogi. And you might guess their specialty there were pierogis.
I think that's the only thing that they sold, right?
Yeah,
Pierogies
yeah.
And drinks.
Yeah. And the guy who owned Mazne was Jacek, and he was just a lovely fellow that we had a nice time chatting with, and really enjoyed his pumpkin mum pierogies. So highly recommend Mazne at the Bezogródek, I think that's how you say it, food truck park.
Close enough.
Yep.
Yeah, he was so nice, and it's always fun to go somewhere and really enjoy the food and kind of feel like you made a friend when you're through with it. It was just a great experience.
Yeah, and you know, just the whole vibe there was great because it wasn't just the him and the truck. It was like being kind of at a beach type play area.
They had a dance floor, and every single piece of music that they played was some sort of swing, and they looked like they were having just the most wonderful time. It was great.
Yeah. And that place is maybe a 10-minute walk or 15-minute walk from the hotel, and definitely a walk worth taking.
And it's so easy. You just go out of the hotel and it is facing directly in front of you. So you will cross the train tracks, you will cross the bicycle and the pedestrian path, and you just cut straight across this huge field and you will find the food truck.
Yeah. So let's talk now about the hotel itself. And in particular, we'll start with when we arrived late in the evening. It was I think 11:30 at night,
like that.
And had to check in. And this was one part of the experience was probably not the greatest.
There wasn't anybody to check us in, and so the only person who could really work the front desk a little bit was he was a bellhop, I think,
Yeah.
and so he didn't really have any access to how things worked. So he was a really nice guy, but we couldn't get checked in, and we had to wait for somebody to show up, which may not be the end of the world, of course, but when you've been traveling the entire day and it's really late at night and you missed your train and had to wait another hour for your connection, you kind of are hoping that you can get checked in. And so the one thing that they did do was they offered us a pair of vouchers for a free drink. If that had been the only mishap in the hotel, I wouldn't even care. I would say, well, things happen, but obviously that wasn't the only thing.
But let's talk a little bit first about the room.
The room, I have to say, when I first saw it, I thought, this is fine. We've seen a lot of hotel rooms. Sometimes they're okay. Sometimes they're really, really pretty. And I thought this one was just fine. But the interesting thing about it was that after 8 days, it actually grew on me, whereas some of the prettier places, I stopped noticing after a while. And it was really crazy because I would wake up early in the morning and I'd look around and I'd see this beautiful piece of wall art. It wasn't just a poster or a painting, but this beautiful, like a wrought iron, modern design. And I would sit there and stare at it and go, oh, look, there's an isosceles triangle inside another isosceles triangle. And then there's the circle here. And then there's this part that looks like something 3D. And I would just look at it with fascination. And the other thing that was, I just thought really creative and beautiful in its own way about the room is how concepts tied together, because then you see, for example, we have a closet here, and it follows this wrought iron example of the artwork, but it also had fantastic functionality, because when your clothes are in an open situation like that, they're always aired out. You never get that stale kind of smell from all of your clothes that were sitting packed in a suitcase. They're always nice and aired and fresh. And then it follows that design also to this beautiful numbering outside the room. So, as I said, you don't have artwork and posters, but there was something about the way there was the flow of this room that I never got bored looking at it. I just always thought it was really just a great space.
Yeah. And that we also really enjoyed the bed, which we found very comfortable.
Very nice.
It was a nice big screen TV. We generally liked the temperature control, and certainly the thermostat itself was really user friendly. So we appreciated that. That's can be rare in hotels.
Yeah, and it's been my experience that old thermostats don't always work that great, but they're very easy to handle. And new thermostats may be better in a lot of ways, but I've just seen like the Nest things where you're trying to dial it around and figure out how to get the controls to what you want. This one was really modern, and at the same time, it was the easiest thing in the world. And I just thought there were a lot of very, very nice features, in addition to just being a nice looking room, the way the lights worked, and the way, where they were everywhere, and what else. The outlet situation was excellent. We never had an issue with all of our technologies. There was always a place to put everything. It was so convenient.
Yeah, you see on the work desk that they have, it's really nice that they have all the outlets you need. You don't need any adapters, because there's the Euro outlet, there's the UK outlet, there's the US outlet, there are 2 USB ports, and, which is a nice touch, you see here they flip down and up, so they don't take up workspace if you're not using them. Very, very nicely done.
Yeah, and also things like having a refrigerator. You kind of expect or hope to have one at a 4-star hotel, but sometimes what they'll do is they will fill them with their drinks and their snacks. We've seen them where they say, attention, there's a light sensor. And so if you even reach into the refrigerator and move an item, they will automatically charge you for it. You don't have to eat it. You don't have to even unscrew the top of a bottle. If you move it, you pay for it. It's nice for the showing, but for people that are full-time travelers like us, they're kind of useless. Whereas when you have a refrigerator and it's empty, we do fill it with things. We get peanut butter and jam and breads and fruit and things for us to drink. So that was a really, really nice thing to have.
Now, the other piece that's always important in a hotel room is the bathroom. And the bathroom here is just excellent. It has non-slip floors. In the summer, we didn't care so much, but I imagine the winter is really nice that those floors are heated floors. And then the shower controls are easy to operate. It was interesting that the bathroom had different levels of lighting and motion sensors for the lights.
It was wonderful. And for me, that was the most successful lighting I have ever seen in a bathroom in my life. To have something that's a motion sensor so that when you walk in, it's an undermount light under the sink. So it's still a very soft light, but it is more than a night light. But at the same time, it's dim enough that it doesn't hurt your eyes. It was to me the most perfect situation I've ever seen for night bathroom lighting.
Yeah, it was generally just a great bathroom here. One of the shortcomings of the hotel was the housekeeping. For example, in the bathroom, the sink stopper didn't work. And so for us, that's a problem, since we tend to wash our clothes in that sink. And when you can't soak in the sink because the stopper doesn't work, problem. Another problem that we had was when we arrived, the toilet brush was broken. Now, okay, that's tend to be
not really our job to clean the toilet, but still, in this case, it was a bigger deal because they weren't cleaning the bathroom. So
right. It took us 3 days to get housekeeping to clean the bathroom here, and that was really pretty unacceptable.
And even when they cleaned the bathroom, the toilet still was, it looked really clean, but it kind of still smelled like a subway urinal. So they were clearly not really 100% cleaning the toilet. Also, being that we are full-time travelers and we cannot eat in restaurants every single meal, we do have food that we eat in the room. And we had some sandwiches several days ago, and we sent the smaller crumbs down the sink, and it was 4 days prior, and they didn't clean the sink. And the reason we knew that is because when we tried to wash our clothes in the sink, we still found the little crumbs stuck to the bottom of the sink. So cleaning was a little bit shaky.
Yeah. So let's talk about the rest of the hotel, particularly the amenities, because it was pretty nice. We like to use the fitness center. We like to be able to tell you we used the fitness center, but the truth is,
we walked into the fitness center.
Yes. But it was a nice looking fitness center, and it seemed to be pretty well equipped.
It had a lot in it, and it was about two times the size of what I'm used to seeing in a lot of these kinds of hotels. So it was a great facility.
Yeah. It was interesting that most of the afternoons and into the evening, when you walked into the lobby, they had available for you ice cream. That was a nice touch. You had to pay for it, but it was $2 for a scoop, and they loaded up the cup for the scoop. That was pretty nice.
It was nice, and also a lot of their food offerings were so much more expensive for a lot of excellent food that you could get elsewhere. But the nice thing about the ice cream was that it was only 1 zloty more than the ice creams right outside, and that is equal to like 25 cents. So it wasn't worth skipping it just for that. And ice cream seems to be a really big deal everywhere we've been so far in Eastern Europe. It's everywhere, and they do a great job with it. So to have it in the lobby at a very reasonable price was a very nice touch.
Yeah. On the downside, when we looked at the menu for the restaurant, and frankly, it was one of, if not the highest priced restaurant we saw while we've been here in Krakow. And look, I love good restaurant, and I'm happy to pay good restaurant prices for great food. But the food here appeared to be much more standard fare. Not terrible looking, but didn't look all that great, and it certainly didn't merit top dollar to me. And to make things worse, when we first got into the room, on the television was a notice about a dining voucher. That looked kind of interesting. I got to tell you, this was so confusing. And it took us 3 different trips to talk with people at the front desk to try to understand what this dining voucher meant. But in the end, what it meant was you got to pay for the voucher. You buy the voucher so that you could eat your meal. And you were basically getting a $3 discount off of a $37 meal.
That's right. It was 149 of the Polish currency to buy the meal. So if you bought the voucher instead, you bought the voucher to have the meal for 140. So the difference was 9 Polish currency, zloty, I believe is how it's pronounced, and which is, yes, it's equivalent to not even $3. So I don't know, we just it kind of left us, no pun intended, but a little bit of a sour taste in our mouths, because I don't know, I just kind of feel like if that's what you're going to offer your guests, such a little perk, then and you have to spend so much to get it, then why even bother?
Yeah, that was the bad news. The good news is it kind of forced us to
go elsewhere,
and we found all the gems we found when we went elsewhere. So
right.
We were disappointed with that, but it really was not the end of the world. It wasn't a deal breaker by any means.
No, I think the bigger problem was the housekeeping issues that we've had, which were several days of different things going on, like Greg described. And then another one this just happened today for about the 3rd time, is that they would come in the morning and we weren't ready to leave yet, and they would keep knocking on the door every half hour, every hour, and then finally they said, well, when should we come here? We said 2:00, and they said, okay. So we left at 2. We went and we did various things around town. We come back 2 hours later, all ready to get to work, and the room still hadn't been done yet. And this had happened a few other times as well. And sometimes they would say they're on their way and they still didn't show up. So a little bit of missed communications with those situations.
So when you talk about the value for the money in the hotel, well, first thing to keep in mind, the Hyatt Place Krakow is a Category 1 hotel by Hyatt standards. So 1 is the lowest category, and I think 8 is the highest. Where that becomes really relevant is if you're using Hyatt reward points to stay. So because it's a Category 1, you're able to stay here for also the lowest tier points. Sometimes you can get it for as little as 3,500 points per night, and that is an exceptionally good deal if you can get it. And I think a couple of our nights during our 8 nights were at that price of 3,500 points, and then the standard price is 5,000 points. So, and to put that in better perspective, we recently signed up and got the World of Hyatt credit card, and there was a sign-up bonus on the World of Hyatt credit card, and that sign-up bonus, which I believe was, we had to spend, I think, $4,000 in 3 months, if I remember right. And for that, we got 30,000 points, right? So that was more than enough to pay for these 8 nights here. So that gives you a better idea about what kind of value there is because this is a Category 1. And that certainly shapes, at least my view, of rating the hotel. Like this was,
for sure.
This is considered by Krakow standards a 4-star hotel. I think that's probably legit.
It's fair.
But by the Hyatt standards, it's a Category 1. You take all those things together, it's a good deal. I mean, you're close to the old town. You're right near beautiful parks all around you to enjoy the walks. The room was nicely equipped, especially for a longer stay like this. So all in all, pretty great.
There were so many great things about this hotel and the location, and the rooms really were very, very nice. So would we come back and do this again? Yeah, we would come back.
For sure.
We'd come back to this hotel. And in terms of a rating, I would say, it's always kind of hard to put a number on something that has really good points and then a few drawbacks. But I think it's fair to say 8.5.
Yeah, I just say 8.
8, okay.
8, I give it
8, 8.5. Okay.
Yeah, that's pretty good here. So, all right. So let's wrap up and talk about, to kind of summarize pros and cons. Pros: excellent location. It's close to Old Town. Great access to the public transport. They, of course, got to hit again on the food truck areas because they were one of the highlights for sure. Having the Zabka mini market right across the street.
Oh yeah, the mini market was really, really wonderful to have. And it was literally just, you walk out of the hotel, it's steps away. So if you are starting to feel a little bit hungry and you want to binge on something and you don't want to go to an expensive restaurant or to some of the other restaurants, they're 10 minutes away, you can just pop into the Zabka. They're open late and they're really good little mini market.
Yeah. The rooms were quiet. We loved the design and the comfort of them. The amenities in the room also were excellent. So, and as we said, the bathroom was outstanding. As for the cons, well, we weren't so happy with the check-in, a little bit slow on the uptake there. The front desk availability, not so good. We were pretty disappointed with the confusion about the dining vouchers.
And just how little it was really offering and how much you had to spend to get such a small discount. So there was that. And again, probably the biggest peccadillo was the housekeeping issues. But all in all,
yeah, again, factoring everything together,
not too bad.
It's definitely a place we would recommend in the end, and would stay here again if we were coming back to Krakow.
Yeah, the price was really good, and I did compare prices, like dollar value, compared with other similar 4-star hotels in Krakow. And even if you're paying with dollars rather than with points, you're getting a good deal. It's less expensive than other similar hotels that are also a 4-star.
So
nice.
That's our review for the Krakow Hyatt Place. If this review helped you, please hit your like button, subscribe for getting all the honest hotel reviews we bring to you.
Yes, thank you for joining us, and we will have more hotel reviews on the way.
See you next time.